Hey everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive.
Hello.
For those of you at Regent Business School getting ready for Session 5 of the Entrepreneurs Boot Camp at Red Hub, this one is definitely for you.
Yeah, we're diving into something really practical today.
Exactly. You've got that brilliant business idea, right? That excitement.
Mhm.
Maybe it feels like you have this amazing recipe in your head.
But the question is, how do you actually cook it?
Right. How do you actually get started?
Yeah.
How do you turn that great idea into, a real functioning business?
And that's where the operational plan comes in. That's our focus for this deep dive.
The engine, you called it.
Exactly. Think of it like that. It's what translates your big vision into, well, the day-to-day steps that make it actually happen.
It really is about moving from the dream to the actual doing, having that clear step-by-step guide.
Which is what Session 5 is all about.
Yeah, and we're drawing from those boot camp materials today. We'll touch on picking the right location, dealing with the pliers,
Understanding the legal side of things, setting up your space.
quality control, managing risks, all that essential stuff.
The goal really is to make this feel less daunting.
And more like a practical toolkit you can use as you head into Session 5, something you can actually start applying.
So let's jump right in. The operational plan itself. What actually is it? And why is it so vital for, say, a Regent student just starting out?
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that.
Yeah.
So the operational plan, it's like the detailed instructions for that recipe we mentioned, not just the list of ingredients.
Right.
It's your day-to-day playbook, how the business runs, how you actually execute your overall strategy.
And the Session 5 materials probably emphasize being specific?
Yeah. Specific enough to guide you daily, but also, flexible enough to adapt. Because things change.
Always.
Plus, it shows others, maybe partners, maybe investors later on, that you've actually thought through the nuts and bolts.
I like that recipe versus ingredients analogy. You could have the best idea, the most drive.
The finest ingredients.
Exactly. But without the method, without that structure, it could all go wrong. Like baking a cake without instructions might be edible, maybe.
Maybe. Probably not what you planned, though. The operational plan provides that structure.
So what are the key parts, the main ingredients of this plan?
Well, broadly, we're looking at how you'll actually produce your product or deliver your service. That's core.
Okay.
Some thoughts on your team, even if Session 5 doesn't go deep into HR just yet,
Right, early considerations.
where you'll physically operate the location piece, how you'll manage your supplies,
The supply chain.
and, really importantly, how you'll navigate all the legal and regulatory stuff.
Okay, let's zoom in on location then. Because the materials for Session 5 really stress that this isn't just about finding a space.
No, definitely not.
It's a strategic move. It impacts pretty much everything.
It really does. The Session 5 materials point out it affects customer access, your brand image, your costs, your potential for growth.
Think about it. Like you said, a trendy shop hidden away where no one walks past.
Or, a budget place in a super high-end mall. This doesn't fit, does it? Great product maybe, but the location's a barrier.
Exactly. Whereas a good location, it boosts your visibility, makes it convenient for customers,
Like that coffee shop near campus example, perfect.
and it supports your future plans. The materials even mention business clusters.
Oh yeah, where similar businesses group together.
Right, like a bookstore near a cafe. They can actually help each other draw customers.
Interesting. So how do you actually pick the right spot for your business idea? What does Session 5 suggest?
Well, first, you've got to think hard about your target customer.
Where are they? How far will they travel? Do you need foot traffic, or is it mostly online?
Then look at competitors. Is it good to be near them, part of a hub? Or should you find a gap in the market somewhere else?
And the type of business obviously dictates a lot. Retail needs visibility.
Manufacturing might need industrial zoning and good transport links.
An online business needs solid internet, maybe less focus on a physical storefront.
And thinking ahead, strategically. What about future growth?
Good point. Are there developments planned nearby? Is the area growing?
Could the location still work if your business doubles in size? You need to consider that expansion potential.
Session 5 also brings up local economic conditions, doesn't it? Like employment rates.
Yeah, more jobs often mean more spending power. And you look at how other businesses are doing there.
And demographics, too. Income levels, age groups, population density, spending habits. Does it match who you're trying to sell to?
Which leads to accessibility. How easy is it really for people and for your supplies to get there?
Public transport, parking availability and cost, loading zones if you need them.
Even just visibility from the road or sidewalk,
Sure.
and analyzing traffic flow at different times.
Then there's the space itself. Session 5 must cover layout,
Absolutely. Enough room, an efficient workflow, storage.
making it easy for customers to move around if it's a retail space. Think about a cluttered shop versus an open one. Big difference.
Huge difference for customer experience and just operational efficiency.
And the materials probably detail layout elements,
Yeah.
entrance, flow, product placement.
Checkout areas, lighting, security, maybe even seating, tech integration. It all matters.
And you cannot forget the legal side. Zoning is a big one.
Definitely. What's permitted in that area? Plus, health and safety rules, specific industry standards.
Session 5 would stress doing your homework before signing anything, right?
Yeah.
Permits, licenses, understanding the lease.
Absolutely critical. Do that due diligence.
Because the cost isn't just rent.
No, you've got utilities, maintenance,
Maybe those common area fees, property taxes, insurance.
renovation sometimes. You need the full cost picture.
And looking even further ahead, Session 5 prompts thinking about future market shifts.
Their expansion?
Even risks like, local economic downturns or maybe even environmental risks, depending on the area. It's long-term thinking.
And Session 5 introduces that location evaluation matrix tool, which sounds useful.
Yeah, it helps make the decision more objective. You list your key factors, accessibility, cost, visibility, whatever matters most to you.
Yeah.
Assign weights based on importance.
And score potential locations against those factors. It gives you a structured way to compare.
And helps avoid just going with a gut feeling that might be wrong.
Yeah.
The materials might even have examples for different student businesses.
Likely. And then there's that bird's eye view concept.
Stepping back to see the bigger picture.
Yeah. Competitor locations, market size, supplier proximity, transport, demographics again, zoning, visibility, seeing it all together.
So the final advice on location from Session 5 is probably take your time.
Don't rush it. Get advice if you need it. Document everything.
Keep an eye on the market and build a good relationship with your landlord. Solid advice.
Okay, so location is sorted, conceptually at least.
Mm.
What about getting the stuff you need to actually do business? Suppliers.
Right, supplier management, crucial.
Session 5 materials would frame this strategically, I imagine.
Yes, it's about managing those relationships for a steady, cost-effective supply of whatever you need.
Goods, services, raw materials.
Yeah. It involves evaluating them, selecting the right ones, negotiating terms.
Maybe having backups. Diversifying.
Definitely. And ensuring they meet standards. Compliance is key.
And why does this matter so much for a startup?
Well, Session 5 explains it means smoother operations day to day, helps control costs.
Makes the business more sustainable.
Exactly. And there's a process for evaluating them, right? Based on quality, reliability.
Cost, compliance, service levels.
It links so closely to your own quality, doesn't it? And managing risk.
Absolutely. Good suppliers mean reliable inputs, fewer disruptions.
And it gives you a stronger position for negotiation. Plus, ensuring everyone's playing by the rules, ethically and legally.
Session 5 probably offers a checklist for this too. Pricing, quality checks, certifications.
Consistency. Yeah, all those points you'd want to tick off.
Okay, now let's shift focus inwards. To the owner, you. Session 5 must talk about the founder's skills.
Oh, absolutely. It highlights how your skills or lack thereof directly impact the business's chances.
Technical skills related to the product, financial know-how, leadership.
Industry knowledge?
The materials might pose that what-if scenario. Starting something you know nothing about.
Right. Great idea, maybe, but actually running it. Managing operations, finding customers, solving problems.
Right.
It's tough without the right skills.
So many businesses stumble because of skill gaps in the founding team.
So, Session 5 encourages self-reflection. What are your skills? Where are the gaps?
And then offers ways to fill them.
Yeah, like training, finding a mentor, maybe partnering with someone who has those complementary skills. Be honest about what you need.
Makes sense. And staying on the right track means dealing with the legal and regulatory maze.
Ugh, yes. Essential, but can feel overwhelming.
Session 5 breaks it down, presumably. Business registration, zoning again, health and safety,
Employment law if you hire, taxes, consumer protection, environmental rules.
intellectual property, contracts. It's a long list.
But the materials explain why it matters, right?
Right.
Avoiding fines, protecting yourself.
Building trust, preventing disruptions, operating ethically.
It just makes everything run smoother in the long run. A checklist here would be invaluable.
No doubt. Okay, what about the physical setup? Facilities and equipment.
Managing your physical assets, workspace, tools, machinery, safety measures.
Session 5 likely connects this to efficiency, safety, cost.
All of the above. Good setup means efficiency. Safety compliance avoids problems. Well-maintained equipment reduces costs and downtime.
And it needs to support your potential growth.
Exactly. Think about that coffee shop with no seats again, or the factory with broken machines. It just doesn't work. A checklist helps plan this too.
Okay, nearly there. Quality control, ensuring excellence.
Making sure your product or service meets the standard every time. Consistency.
Inspection, monitoring, getting feedback.
Session 5 must stress why this is crucial. Preventing defects, building customer trust.
Reducing waste, improving efficiency overall.
They might use examples, like a flawed product reaching a customer. Damages your reputation instantly.
Right, so a checklist covering specifications, procedures, inspections, supplier checks, feedback loops. Vital.
And finally, pulling it all together with risk management. Preparing for the unexpected.
Identifying potential threats, assessing them, figuring out how to mitigate them.
For stability, business continuity.
Session 5 probably emphasizes why this matters, identifying threats before they happen.
Ensuring stability, minimizing losses, making better decisions because you've considered the what-ifs.
The examples must be powerful here, like what if your main supplier goes bust?
Or you face a cyber attack and haven't prepared. It underlines the need for planning.
So, a risk checklist looking at identified risks, contingency plans, insurance, emergency steps, continuity strategies.
Puts it all in perspective.
So you see, it's not just one document. The operational plan weaves all these threads together.
It really is the comprehensive framework for making the business actually work.
Absolutely. And for you Region students heading into Session 5, hopefully this deep dive clarifies how critical this operational planning piece is.
It's the engine, driving that idea forward into something real, something sustainable.
It's moving beyond just the what to the how.
It really requires that detailed planning and thinking about execution.
So we definitely encourage you to engage with the Session 5 materials. Use those checklists as starting points.
Yeah, really think, how does location apply to my idea? What about suppliers? What skills do I need to develop?
Which areas feel like the biggest opportunities for you? Or maybe the biggest hurdles you need to plan for?
And maybe a final thought to take into Session 5 and beyond. This operational plan, it's not static.
No, it's a living thing.
Exactly, a living blueprint for your whole entrepreneurial journey. It needs ongoing attention, tweaking, strategic thought, long after the boot camp.
So perhaps the question to ask yourself now is, what's the very first practical step you'll take to start building that dynamic system for your own business success?